Bitcoin is now below $80,000, Ethereum is below $2,500, and Solana is barely holding on to $100. What a Saturday night capitulation. In today's video, we'll be talking about this, going over the most recent Bitcoin price action. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I have been giga short since $97,000, but there could be some new opportunities arising. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. All right, so first things first, yes, I took some more profits out of my shorts. Bitcoin is currently sitting just below $79,000, and I secured around $200,000 out of my most recent trade, which you can see I entered right around $97,000. It's crazy how fast things can change, but guys, in a bear market, we typically get violent price action to the downside. I've been very, very bearish on the YouTube channel, and this trade was also, of course, shared in my group, but even coming onto the channel, I mean, Bitcoin was still sitting at like $96,000 after I had taken this entry, and you can see the aftermath. $78,000 Bitcoin. I do think we can head lower, but let's talk about the new opportunities. So, first and foremost, we need to understand the fact that we have a major low on the horizon, and that low is the tariff capitulation low. Remember when we had all of that tariff nonsense and Bitcoin dropped to around $74,000? Well, we're getting very, very close to that level. And as I've always said, the price doesn't just go down in a straight line. I know sometimes it can feel like it, and if I'm shorting the market, obviously that's what I hope for. But at this point in time, you can see that we are currently below these existing lows, around $80,500, depending on which exchange you're using. So this is a key area of interest. If Bitcoin can make it down here and we sweep the low and get a reclaim, I would immediately start looking for swing longs in this market. I told you in my previous video, I'm looking for swing longs. We are getting very, very close to that opportunity. I want to see us sweep those tariff capitulation lows. I can't make it any more clear. If you want to see my execution and you want to know exactly when I am personally taking on my next big trade in this market, well, you do have the first link in my description down below. DM me the keyword 2026 on Telegram, and I'd be happy to onboard you in my group where I share all of my own personal trade setups. Reminder as well, I am not a financial advisor. Nothing that I discuss on the channel should be construed as financial advice. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades in a very, very volatile market. Look, there's not that much to update you on. We're sitting below $79,000. Solana is barely holding above $100, and Ethereum is literally at $2,400. You can see this kind of price action is not the kind of price action where altcoins can thrive. How many times have you heard altcoin season this, altcoin season that? Speaking of which, I wanted to give you an update on my Bitcoin dominance trade. This was like $7,000 in profit. Look how fast this climbs. Look, I've been longing Bitcoin dominance for a very, very long time. Some of you have been asking me if it makes sense to long now, and I would say no, because you can see here that on Bluffin with this Bitcoin dominance metric, I entered at around 3,800, and right now Bitcoin dominance on Bluffin is sitting at 5,000. Don't ask me how they calculate it. Ultimately, it's a basket of the top altcoins in the crypto space compared to Bitcoin, and they put it together, and that's how it's made up of this equation. But the point is, I was very, very convinced that Bitcoin dominance would continue to increase simply because this is just not an environment where altcoins can do well. I'm sorry to say it. I know everyone has their favorite altcoins, but I've been so bearish on alts, and now you can see why. If Bitcoin gets a little bit of relief, of course, altcoins can get that relief. But the moment that Bitcoin absolutely capitulates, well, it's over for alts. And as a matter of fact, we are now sitting above 60% for Bitcoin dominance, now above its bull market support band. There's a chance that we can go ahead and sweep these highs once more. I would not write that off. Now, speaking of dominance, let's also talk about USDT dominance. Look at this. Absolutely explosive move to the upside after basically tapping into its bull market support band. We've also been talking about this. If USDT dominance explodes to the upside, well, that 80K low is now done. We are likely going lower. So at this point in time, what should you be looking for? I already know for a fact that my next big trade in this market will be a long. I mean, this is just a thing of beauty, down from 97K to 78K, $19,000 move to the downside. By far my best trade of 2026. And I'm very, very happy for all of the members in my group that were able to execute on this. And those of you that have been watching me on the YouTube channel, if you believed in my conviction to short Bitcoin, well, congratulations. Remember to always take profits. Not financial advice, but I'm showing you what I'm doing. My stop loss is now at break even, and I have secured profits on this trade, significant profits. I do think we can head lower, but it's important to pay yourself from these massive trades. So, at this point in time, I actually think that if Bitcoin is to sweep the tariff low, there's actually a pretty decent chance that we get a significant bounce. Now, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but because this is such a significant level, and you can see that it was the level that essentially allowed us to create a brand new all-time high for Bitcoin, it's a good risk to reward opportunity. I'll of course let you know when I decide to execute on that trade, but I just thought I'd keep you aware as to what I am currently looking at. And remember how Binance announced that fund that they're going to be buying $1 billion worth of Bitcoin with their treasury, yada yada, and I essentially said in my previous video that it's probably bullshit? Well, look, they basically sold around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin on this Saturday. Absolutely crazy. The last two things I want to cover in this very, very quick emergency video, the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map. On the 1 year time frame, there are a lot of shorts in this market. Don't kid yourself. So while we can go lower, I do think we can get a bounce, and I will look to trade that bounce. Keyword trade, because ultimately in the bear market, I do think Bitcoin will go below $70,000, but we could get a more significant bounce if we are to tap into those tariff lows. I hope I've made myself clear as to how I am personally going to be trading this market. The last thing here, Coinbase Premium, still in deep red. And of course, the ETFs on Friday sold off around $500 million worth of Bitcoin, mainly coming from BlackRock, and the prior day, just under 1 billion. Bitcoin is getting sold left, right, and center. Do you really believe in the super cycle now? And that sums up today's quick video. Bitcoin absolutely capitulated well within my expectations, and the short has continued to print. My stop loss is now at break even, and I am simply looking for a new big opportunity in this market, ideally if we can go ahead and sweep those tariff lows. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. As always, I have my bluff and leverage trading tutorial right here. If you want to see how I am personally trading the market and get exclusive access to my own trades before I come on the YouTube channel, well, DM me the keyword 2026 on Telegram using the first link in my description down below. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.